In Dr. Seuss's The Lorax, there is a scene in the story where the Onceler, who owns a large company making Thneeds, dumps the waste products into a nearby river. The Lorax, the guardian of the forest, comes to him with complaints, saying, "You're glumping the pond where the humming fish hummed. No more can they hum, for their gills are all gummed. So I'm sending them off, or their future is dreary. They'll walk on their fins and get woefully weary. In search of some water that isn't so smeary, I hear things are just as bad up in Lake Erie." Well, that's pessimistic and all, but what's it got to do with water pollution? Well, this quote illustrates one of the many potential factors of water pollution, and the problems it may cause. Water pollution is one of the more general terms under the even more general term pollution. Since some of us may be unaware of the problems posed by water pollution and how big the problem really is, we'll try to break down a topic, as well as what you can do to help. To start, let's try to answer the question, how does water pollution affect animals? Pollutants such as pesticides, fertilizers, and animal waste, all of which are used in farming, can end up in nearby natural bodies of water. A 2010 EPA assessment of the U.S.'s lakes tells us that about 20% of the 50,000 lakes in the U.S. are polluted by nitrogen and phosphorus. High levels of these nutrients can lead to algae blooms, which deplete the oxygen in the water and kill the organisms in the lake, causing serious damage to the ecosystem. Plastic waste is another pollutant. Plastic itself can hurt fish by damaging their gills, and plastic that's consumed may not be digested. The plastic eaten by fish can be transferred to the predator that eats the fish, causing a buildup of plastic at higher trophic levels. The plastic and other pollutants that we put in water can come back to us when we eat those fish, and that brings us to our next question. How does water pollution affect our lives?
As much as we humans like to think that we're above the food chain and other animals, we aren't. We're still very much connected to other animals, so hurting them hurts us. When we eat the fish or other animals that have taken up plastic, we consume the chemicals within the plastic, which can lead to a wide range of health problems. Other forms of pollution, such as human and animal wastes, can get into water and carry disease-causing bacteria or viruses with them. Drinking polluted water can lead to diseases such as cholera and dysentery, hence the reason why you drink bottled water instead of water directly from a lake. These water-related diseases cause the death of 3,575,000 people around the world every year, and unsafe water kills more people than war and violence combined do. So, as much as we wish we were, we aren't safe from these dangers either. The issue of water pollution in New York City. New York City has had a problem with combined sewer overflows for a really long time now. When too much stormwater fills a combined sewer, the water and the sewage spill out into natural water bodies. In New York City, over 20 billion gallons of contaminated water get thrown out into water bodies every year from CSOs. Those bodies of water may be used by us for recreation, and those contaminants can have an effect on drinking water sources downstream of the outfall location. Overhauling the sewers to separate sewage and stormwater is a solution, but it's incredibly costly, which is why many have chosen to build green infrastructure instead, since it's considered a more cost-effective method of dealing with CSOs by taking in water and keeping it away from combined sewers. Funding New York City's green infrastructure program is important to managing CSOs, but major programs like the Clean Water State Revolving Fund and the Water Infrastructure Finance and Innovation Act, which help provide states with the funding needed for water infrastructure projects, have had their budget been cut by 34% and 60% respectively under the 2020 budget, and the 2021 budget proposal cuts the budgets even further. Advocating for undoing these budget cuts and for supporting these programs that help make the big water infrastructure projects possible could prove to be very helpful in improving the water quality in the U.S. as a whole. Water pollution in the future. Water pollution is expected to worsen in the future. By 2050, population growth, urbanization, and climate change will make providing water an even more difficult task than it already is, and it will make water quality an even greater concern. If nothing is done to improve water quality here in New York City, then we will be the ones who face the consequences. If you would like to help fix this problem, then you can help raise awareness by signing a petition, write to politicians asking for a change, modify your lifestyle to be less wasteful by doing things like recycling or reusing plastic items, and inform others about water pollution. Water pollution is not a problem that can be solved so easily and so quickly, so everyone needs to contribute if we want it to get better.